Hello guys, so today we are going to learn how to use Quizizz and talk about how you can use it in your class. So first thing you want to do is go to quizizz.com. So it's spelled quiz with I-Z-Z at the end. So you can see it right here, quizizz.com, okay? And then you get to this fun website here with all the excitement from the kids. And then you are going to click on sign up. Okay, of course I already have a sign up, so I'm going to go ahead and log in. And I'm going to log in with Google, but the sign up process is just pretty typical as you would have in any website. Okay, so I am going to sign in with my work email. So working at a high school, that's the best practice anyways, because you want your students to be seeing your professional profile. Okay. And then, so now I'm going to show you how to use quizzes. Okay, you can create your own quiz. You can also, so you can create your own quiz by just going over here, okay, and doing that. You can also find a quiz that somebody has already created and then just edit that and go from that. And that's what most people do just because time is always a constraint. So even though I teach high school science, I'm going to search for a quiz on World War II. Um, so there's a list here, and I can, as you see, as I move the mouse, it shows me what the quiz is on the side. So I can preview the quiz. Oops, excuse me. I can preview the quiz by going through it right here. Okay. And then if I want to, I can view the full quiz. Oops, I keep clicking on the wrong part of the mouse. Okay, so let's say I'm viewing this quiz and this is the quiz I want to use. Okay, um, so what I'm going to do is I could just go ahead and share this quiz, but what I want to do, and this is a best practice here, is duplicate the quiz and make a copy of it for myself. Okay, so now I have a copy of this quiz in my quizzes section right here. Okay, so there it is right there. So these are some of the other quizzes that I've used in the past. Okay, so once I open that, I can host a quiz as a live game, as a homework game, or a solo game. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. What I want to do first, though, you always want to make sure you do this because it'll relieve a lot of frustrations, is you want to read through all the questions and see if anything needs to be changed. So say I need to delete a question or edit a wording in the question, I'm going to click that edit button and it's going to pop up the entire quiz right here. Okay, so say I want to change the answer, I'm going to click I'm going to click edit, excuse me. And then I'm going to say, oh no, the answer should have been the Chinese. Of course, it's not in this case, so I'm going to leave it as the Japanese. I can add pictures, I can delete answers, okay, I can add images to the questions. I can tag standards if I want to keep track of that. I can change the amount of time that the student is given for that question. And you have a little preview here of what the question is going to be like for the students. Okay, you can even change the type of question you want to give to your students. Okay, so if you're creating the new quiz, you would have all the same functionality. All right, so I'm going to click Save right here. It's going to save that question. So the reason why you want to read the quiz and edit anything if anything needs to be deleted is because if a question doesn't make sense or it covers a concept that your students didn't learn, that could be really frustrating for the students. So you want to go through the quiz if it's something that somebody already wrote. Here you can edit the title, you can change the picture, okay, and see how you can align quiz to a standard here. You can also import some from a spreadsheet, which we're not going to cover in this video here. This is just kind of the basics. So here's the entire quiz. I can add more questions right here. I can delete a question, or I can duplicate a question if I just want to change part of the wording or something like that. Okay. You can also create a question up here from on top, or you can search from other quizzes, okay, that you created or other people created. So I'm going to click here that I finished my quiz. Okay. Now I can host this in the classroom. Okay, like if I want all my students to do this right now before the end of the bell, I can just do it like this. Okay. I'm gonna go back here. I can just play a solo game, or what I can do is a homework game. So this is something that you can do if you want your students to have access to this over a certain period of time. So say you have made a couple of these to help them study for a test or help them learn some important vocab or things like that, okay? And then you can post the link to your students. So one thing that you want to take notice is that the due date right here. So it says participants should complete this game by November 20th, 1:45 p.m. That's within a day and 13 minutes from now. So the default is always within about 24 hours. So what's happened to me before is I'll post the quiz to my Google Classroom, for example, but then halfway through the day the next day, my students would be like, it's not working anymore. And then, it's because the game has expired. So what you want to do is always give a few days, or I always just go ahead and give the maximum amount of days. That way, if I have students who are absent, who are sick, or had family emergencies, they can have access to this over the course of several days. Then I'm going to click Proceed. Okay. At this point, okay, you can post the game directly to your Google Classroom, Edmodo, or send it through Remind 101 if you have that. Okay. Or you can give your students this link and this code. Okay, when they go to this link, it will ask them to join a game and they have to type in the code for the game. So if we type in this code, you will see how your students will be able to start the game. So I'm going to put my name here, Ed. So this is what the game is going to look like for your students. Okay? All right, so we're going to answer the first question. Which country was invaded, which caused France and Greece to declare war? I'm going to say Soviet Union, but it was Poland. I know that. So it has little funny memes, okay, to encourage your students. And then they're going to do the second question. Manchuria was invaded by which country? Say Japan. Yay, I got that right. Okay, so it gives them how many points. It ranks the students. So if there are multiple players, they can see how they're doing compared to their peers. Okay, so this is how the game works. I'm going to exit that. I want to go to the quizzes I've had my students do before to show you what the report looks like. Um, Actually, I'm going to click here on My Reports. So here's data, okay, from the quizzes. This is a quiz I've just started, okay. These are some sample quizzes that I was playing with, and I didn't actually assign them to anybody. So I'm going to click on this. All right. So this will give me data on each of my students. I'm not going to show that to you because I don't want to break student confidentiality here. But I will show you the questions report. It gives me a report on what the answers are like. Okay, so this is great for formative assessments. It's also really great if your students struggle with reading comprehension as far as understanding what the question means. Okay, this is really good for you to kind of flush out what kind of questions they're having difficulty understanding and things like that. Okay, so you can use these results, okay, to go back and reteach anything that you need to reteach. Or if you want to take a few minutes to review something before a test or something like that, this is very useful for that. Overview, and again, I'm not going to show the student name here, but you can see here it says the player name and then which ones they got wrong or right. So this first student got the first 10 questions correct. You can see because it's all green. Okay, and you can see the overall score for these questions up on top, and it'll give you the information for each student. Of course, you can download this, you can print it, or you can even delete the report. Okay. Last thing I want to show you is you can create a collection. So if you think you're going to be using this a lot, you can create essentially folders. Okay, so for example, cell transport, we did a lot of these. we use these three quizzes, okay? So I clicked on one of them for you to see, but I use these three quizzes when we were doing cell transport. So in the future, if I'm going to teach cell transport and I know that these quizzes were really helpful, I can just click on that folder rather than search through everything. It just is a bit of a shortcut for me. Okay, so this is an introduction on how to use quizzes, and hopefully you'll have a good time and your students will have a good time doing some practice quizzes on their phones or laptops to get them to practice, you know, those things that those basic knowledge skills that they need to know, or practice reading comprehension, or anything that you need them to do.